What is happening, basketball lovers and hoopheads? Welcome back to Checkup. My name is Bryce, and I'm here to take you through some lovely basketball content. Basketball, sports, really our entire lives are filled with unsung heroes. And we're going to be talking about one of my favorite unsung heroes today, and that is Jaylon Tyson, who I genuinely believe has been the Cavs' third best player this season. Arguably their second most important, and I'm going to tell you why today. And there might be some of you out there with negative ball knowledge who are looking at me going, who the hell is Jaylon Tyson? He plays for the Cavs. What are you talking about? But if you are not tuned in, you're about to be. Jaylon Tyson has been pound for pound one of the most impactful role players this year in the NBA. And for a Cavs team that has really struggled to get contributions from anybody outside of its stars for the past few years, he has been so integral to them. First things first, he's just a dog. He's a guy who fights. He's a guy who tries his ass off every single night. He's not the most talented player out there. He's not the most athletic guy out there. But let me tell you, he gives a damn and he tries his ass off every night. He typically takes on the most important perimeter defensive role for the Cavs. He's also having a stellar shooting season. And in many cases, along with Donovan Mitchell, has pretty much been the only Cavs source of perimeter creation. And we're going to talk about how he works as a perimeter creator. Is he a primary guy? Spoiler alert, no. But he is a fantastic secondary playmaker from the wing. He's also a guy who makes smart passes. He's a great offensive rebounder, especially for his size. We're going to take a moment. We're going to go through every facet of his game. We're going to talk about a lot of stats on the way. And let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into it. I want to open this up by talking about Jaylon's offensive game. Now, in college and as a rookie, for sure, he wasn't much of a scorer at all. But in his second year, he's kind of been a revelation for the Cavs. Not even kind of. He's been probably their second most important perimeter player this year. Definitely. He's a guy who's averaging 14 points per game. He's shooting over 50% from the field and 48% from three. Amongst guys who take at least 4 attempts a game, he's leading the NBA in three-point percentage. He can score from all over the court, really. You'll see times where he drives and gets to pull up middies and little turnaround baby hooks in the lane. He'll drive all the way to the rim. He's excellent in transition. He really loves to run out and get ahead of the plays. He is a good spot-up shooter, a great catch-and-shoot guy. I think shooting like 47% on catch-and-shoot threes this year. And really, his big specialty, I think, for the Cavs has been the offensive rebounding, so the second effort, the second chance stuff, and then B, just his ability to create as a secondary playmaker or a secondary perimeter player, right? So Donovan Mitchell drives the ball into the lane. He can blow past anybody in the NBA. Well, defenses are going to collapse on him. And who does he kick out to? In the past, it's Dean Wade, it's DeAndre Hunter, it's Sam Merrill. Some of those guys are good shooters and whatever, but they're not doing anything in the ball after catching it other than maybe shooting it or passing it along to somebody else. Jaylon is a guy who will make plays out of that. He'll catch and shoot. He'll drive the ball. He is so good at catching the ball on the wing and making plays. And I really think, especially with the Cavs additions at the trade deadline, even Dennis Schroeder, who's having a rough year, is still a guy who can blow past defending players at the point of attack and get downhill and get paint touches. And that could really help Jaylon Tyson. James Harden works wonderfully with guys who he can kick out to when defenses collapse on him after he's been cooking a dude on the perimeter forever. So I think he's super mega important to them. It's hard for me to parse out right now whether opposing NBA teams and scouting reports just haven't really caught up with him yet, or if he's genuinely this good. I think it's a little bit of both. So we'll see how this sustains in the playoffs. But he's got a huge future in this league, and especially for this Cavs team that desperately needs kind of a wing player like him. I want to take some time now. I want to break down a couple of plays, and I want to show you what I really love about Jaylon. We'll discuss why he's so smart. It's not hard to see how guards like James Harden and Dennis Schroeder and Donovan Mitchell still are going to be wildly helpful to Jaylon Tyson, because we can see here Craig Porter Jr. gets this paint touch. You see Jordan Miller, who is defending Jaylon Tyson, has to come down and tag the roller on this play to make sure that the Cavs don't get an easy lob. So we get a kick out now to Jaylon on the wing. He could pull that, although the defense recovers, I think, nicely to prevent the three. But you see that the nice just immediate attack to close out blows right by Jordan Hawkins. The beautiful reverse lay. He's done that a million times this season. I mean, look at this stuff, man. This is just winning basketball plays. Big box out, big shoulder, slaps the ball out to his teammate, keeps the play alive, relocates to the corner for a wide open three. He is paid for his hard work, and he just, again, doing stuff like that all season long, keeping possessions alive, relocating, being smart, being proactive. One of the things that limits Jaylon's game a little bit is the lack of explosive athleticism. We'll get to that more on the defensive end of the ball, but I just love stuff like this here where he's attacking the closeout, he blows right by his defender, and he's kind of just meandering, being smart, just like sprinting his way in, right? He's calculated, he's thinking about this, and then he makes this beautiful, quick crossover, uses that big body to just worm right to the rim. I know the Pelicans aren't a good defense, but like this is still impressive stuff. I think the mechanics on his jump shot are like a little bit wonky, but hey, it hasn't really mattered because the jump shot goes in. It's not a particularly quick release jump shot, but it has been very effective all year. We'll see if that holds up throughout the playoffs. I'll be super interested because that could be a huge X factor for the Cavs. But you see the pinch help on the Rockets zone, and he gets a wide open wing three, and he just steps up, knocks it down. Again, I continuously love the way he just attacks in transition. He doesn't waste any opportunities. Your energy and momentum is going one direction and you're trying to shoot in the other. That's a really difficult thing to pull off. That requires a lot of soft touch, which he does have. Very impressive right there. All right, last thing before we're going to move on is something else here, but I just love this is great play design from the Cavs. Excellent in-game recognition from Jaylon Tyson and the rest of the team. So the first option was to try to get the ball to Sam Merrill over here. Devin Booker does a good job of like preventing that pass. So what happens? Jared Allen's going to flip over. He's going to pass this ball to Darius Garland instead. Notice Jaylon Tyson started in this strong side kind of corner dunker spot. And now that we've switched over to Garland, we're going to empty out to this weak side corner over here, right? What does that do? Well, let's watch this play unfold. Now, Mark Williams is kind of playing up at the level with Jarrett Allen. So they're kind of trying to prevent Darius Garland from getting downhill, right? He's a fast guard. So Jarrett Allen just kind of slips this screen, kind of ghosts the screen, and Darius Garland's going to make this little pocket pass. Jared Allen is going to be able to get behind or at least even with Mark Williams here. So to prevent Jared Allen from having a wide open run to the rim, Dillon Brooks kind of has to hang out here in the paint and prevent this. So now that Jaylon Tyson has relocated to the corner and his man is forced to help on Jarrett Allen, who smartly slipped this screen up here because he noticed his defender was hip to hip with him. Now Jarrett Allen makes a beautiful pass to the corner. Wide open three. Bada bing, bada boom. Ladies and gentlemen, that is good basketball. Before we move back and look at a little bit more tape, let's go over some lineup data real quick. So shout out to Data Baller as always. They are great, and we can kind of just see Jaylon Tyson's impact on the Cavs this season. So flat, with Jaylon Tyson on the court, the Cavs have a 121.3 offensive rating and a 114.1 defensive rating and a plus 7.2 net. So basically they're beating teams by 7-ish points a game when he's on the court, which a plus 7.2 net rating is pretty solid. Let's see where that would rank in the NBA this season. Just so you can get a reference for what that means, the best offensive rating in the NBA right now is a 121.1. So with Jaylon Tyson on the floor, the Cavs have a better average offensive rating than the best offense in the NBA. A 114.1 defensive rating is pretty middling, so not great on that side of the ball. And then if we're looking at net rating, a plus 7.3 would be the fourth best net rating in the NBA. So again, just as a frame of reference, the Cavs play pretty damn good when Jaylon Tyson is on the floor. It is important to note that lineup data is wonky. You can find anything you want to fit any sort of narrative with lineup data, but it does kind of give you, like I said, a frame of reference for what your eyes see. Another thing that's been huge for the Cavs this season is, again, the Donovan Mitchell-Jaylon Tyson pairing has been awesome. That two-man pairing, which has played 730 minutes, a lot. 730 minutes is quite a bit at this point in the NBA season. They have a plus 14.3 net, a 125.4 offense, and a 111 defense. When you take Jaylon Tyson off the floor, all of a sudden the Cavs are still good with Donovan Mitchell on the floor, of course, but only a plus 4 once you add Mitchell and Tyson, plus 14.3. And that's what we were talking about in the tape, right? Having a guy who can make plays secondarily on the perimeter is super helpful for Donovan Mitchell, who hasn't had Darius Garland for most of the season, and Evan Mobley hasn't been outstanding, especially on the offensive side of the ball this year. So you can just kind of see how important he's been. 3, 2, 1. And when you start getting into lineup data, especially 4 and 5 man lineups, stuff can get weird and small sample sizes matter, opponent matters, right? All of those things. But again, let's just talk about 5-man lineups for the Cavs. We talk about Mitchell, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jaylon Tyson. Theoretically, their preferred starting lineup before they traded Darius Garland only played 35 minutes, which is not a lot at all, but plus 44.3. That's crazy. And even we see here stuff like this. When you have Dean Wade subbed in for Darius Garland, that's a plus 24.1 still. Great offensive rating. When you take Evan Mobley and Darius Garland on the floor and give a bunch of shooting and spacing with Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell and Jaylon Tyson on the floor, plus 42.3. Great. Again, relatively limited minutes, not crazy, but still good. 4-man lineups. Look at Mitchell, Allen, Mobley, and Tyson, plus 23. Jaylon Tyson with all of the Cavs' top guys, Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland when he played this season, are all vastly positive lineups. He's just flat out been good and very important this season. Let's run back to the tape and run through a couple more things before we talk about defense. I want to talk about one more scoring possession that I found real quick, just because, like I said, I love the Donovan Mitchell, Jaylon Tyson duo together so much. They are awesome. So we see Jaylon Tyson bringing Colin Gillespie into this play, setting the screen on Donovan Mitchell's man here. I love this. They're kind of just playing around, but as soon as they see the Suns go to switch this play, Jaylon Tyson slips this screen beautifully, and we have the nice quick reaction pass. He gets deep into the paint and has a beautiful floater. Just nice, snappy, quick reaction stuff. I love it. Let's talk about the passing and some of the other minute offensive stuff. He's not an adept passer, I would say. He averages 2.5 assists a game to almost 1.5 turnovers. Not great, but could get better, and you see the flashes of smart stuff. So something like this here where Evan Mobley comes over, gives him the kind of little dump off DHO, sets the screen. I like that he recognizes that RJ Barrett is immediately behind this play, makes the smart over the top pass. Nobody had a chance of intercepting that, especially from the Raptors, who are a super long rangey defense, and places that perfectly. Evan Mobley gets a nice easy bucket. Here's just an awesome play that is buried in the tape. You see him getting back in transition, gets a nice deflection, the hit-ahead pass to the transition 3. Lazy stuff from the Hawks, and Jaylon Tyson capitalizes. And he's always great at keeping the ball moving or taking it himself. He knows what he's going to do. Great little touch pass over to Sam Merrill, who makes the beautiful sidestep 3. Just that connective passing, the smart decision-making stuff. All right, we're going to have back-to-back plays with nice transition passes. Donovan Mitchell gets this strip here. Look at the way he just sprints up the floor, catches this ball, probably picks up his dribble too soon, but finds Evan Mobley on his way to the rack. Next play, immediately after this, Jared Allen gets the steal. Look at him run out again in transition. Doesn't throw to Jared Allen. Instead, opts for Evan Mobley, who gets the wide open dunk. Smart, snappy decision making there that's only made possible by the way he runs in transition. I would like to see him make more plays for his teammates out of these secondary actions when he catches the ball and drives. I'd like to see him open up more opportunities for his teammates, but also maybe just the scouting report isn't there on it and he's just scoring at will, so maybe he doesn't need to pass. But again, more synergy between him and Donovan Mitchell. I love the immediate pass back because he recognizes that Donovan's already behind his man, and we get an easy floater. But let's keep it moving. Let's keep it pushing. All right, I know I said last one, but I love this play a lot. Look at the way he throws this out to Garland, gets the little slip screen and the switch. He's kind of just floating in the lane. Garland gets downhill, so the Warriors double him. Now Jalen's kind of hanging out in the paint, and TJD, Trace Jackson-Davis right here, is kind of cognizant of him, and he's like, all right, I gotta get up there to him. Garland's going to make this pass here to Jaylon Tyson in the middle, and just look at how quick that is. Snap, right to Mobley, easy dunk. I did say I love his offensive rebounding. We don't have to spend too much time on this, but it's just the extra effort stuff that I love. Thunder defense got the Cavs in hell. DeAndre Hunter gets a little tip on this, a hand. Nobody puts their hand on Tyson, who was pushing his way to the rim as soon as he saw that shot go up. Extra effort, gets the bucket here. All right, again, it's just this little extra effort stuff, just keeping possessions alive. Chases his own miss, flits it back to his teammate, who Jared Allen misses that little thrunk, but gets fouled in the process. Keeping possessions alive. We've seen NBA teams become so enamored with the possession game, and offensive rebounding has been a big move in the NBA this season, and one of the most valued traits, really, in Jaylon Tyson at the wing position is excellent at it. Now we're going to kind of transition into the last part of this video where we talk, I guess, negatively, but just stuff that I want to see him work on and see him work through. Jalen's biggest obstacle is always going to be the athleticism, just not a lot of upward leaping ability from him, and you can see just certain defenders, lengthy guys really get into him on the offensive side of the ball, and on defense, I think he can sometimes be taken advantage of, even though he's always 100% giving effort. One of the things that will limit Jalen's ceiling the most is that as of right now, he's just not a movement shooter, and it's because of the kinetic balance in his shot. You can see him float to the top of the key here, and he's got to set his feet, load that elbow, and then kind of shoot it. It's not just one fluid motion, which you see with the best shooters in the NBA. Great, catch and shoot set shot guy, but just off of movements, I don't think it works particularly well. And here's where we can kind of see that athleticism fail a little bit. I love this little hezzy move. He gets right downhill, but Jalen Smith comes over and just erases that. He kind of doesn't get any lift on his shot, and I don't think he had the speed or the leaping across ability to make that, an up and under or something. He just kind of gets erased at the rim. All right, I don't want to be too negative, but last thing, again, to just kind of showcase those limitations, he's going to make a beautiful sideline cut here. Theoretically has a wide open dunk or at least a layup, but just gets beyond deleted because he doesn't have crazy lift. But that should be about it for his offensive game. Again, just great driver off of primary downhill action. He's a great catch and shoot guy. He's fearless and decisive. He's a great connective passer. He makes snappy decisions. He runs the floor in transition well. He can hit turnaround middies and floaters and hooks. His offensive ceiling will ultimately just be limited by the lack of athleticism, and we'll see if he can whether he becomes a guy who takes more threes and different types of threes coming off of screening actions and whatnot. You don't see any of that. It's all off of kickouts. So we'll see how that progresses in the future. Let's move on to the defense for just a little bit. I'm a bit mixed on the defense. I think he is a good defender, and in the whole team concept of the Cavs, he's one of their best, and that may contribute to some of the lacking, like, I think, film tape that I've watched on him, and I'll show you in just a second. But again, the lack of like crazy wingspan or athleticism. He's not a deflections guy. He doesn't get a ton of steals. He doesn't draw a lot of offensive fouls. I love the stop percentage from Data Baller. It's basically just a combination of how many steals you draw a game, blocks, and offensive fouls that you draw, and he ranks pretty lowly in their stats, so he doesn't rack up. He's not a crazy like defensive playmaker, I think is a great way to say it, but the defensive contesting stats are good. I mean, he defends a lot of shots every game. He's almost an 80th percentile in the league, so defends a lot of shooters. He's affects people by 4.1% at the rim, which is good, better than I would have thought, and affects players' overall percentage by 2%. Everything, he's right around, the 75th percentile in all these kinds of stats, so that's solid. Let's go to the tape real quick, and then I'm going to get y'all out of here. Because he's a bit bulkier, he's not super fast. I think the screen navigation could certainly use some work. You see on these big body screeners like Donovan Clingan here, they do a great job of getting him behind the play. He really gets caught at the hip there, and Caleb Love gets downhill for a nice floater. Again, kind of an anticipatory lack here. He kind of just gets behind this play. Shaedon Sharpe gets around him, holds him on his back. They probably could have called that a foul, but nice pull of midi. Same thing here, just screen navigation isn't great. Shaedon's able to get that pretty cleanly off. All right, we see the Lakers here in horns out set, but we're running double screens for Luka here. Jaylon Tyson was originally guarding Marcus Smart here. Marcus Smart screens on Dean Wade, so Jaylon Tyson is going to switch out onto Luka here, but he doesn't duck under these screens because Luka can pull up from three, but I don't think, again, he does a great job of kind of getting around Jackson Hayes. Luka, who's not explosive or fast or quick, is able to kind of just leisurely get around. There's no chase down attempt, and pull up midi, very easy. And this is solid defense here, but again, just some of those limitations. Paolo does a great job, bumps him pretty hard, and Tyson takes the contact well here, but Paolo rises for a tough jumper and just not a super strong contest, even though he's right in his grill. It just didn't seem to affect the shot much. Don't want this to be all negative, of course, and I want to just point out the effort. He does a great job of tagging here on Paolo and preventing Paolo from just getting downhill, even though Paolo is switched on to Craig Porter Jr. here. Paolo makes a nice pass, but I love the way that Jaylon kind of tracked that all the way. You saw that there, and gets a great contest and a missed corner three for the Magic here. And another fine play here. I like the little kind of pinch help. Just steps 1 foot in to prevent the drive. Gets his hands up to try and deflect the pass, but keeps his hands ready and contests that. Missed three. All right. Last thing. Here's a great defensive play in a close-ish enough game, but I think he just does a great job of moving his feet laterally, making contact with his hips, but not with his hands, just bumping LaMelo off his spot just a little bit, but not fouling him. Great contest and a missed layup here. Again, the effort is always there. He's strong. He's big-bodied. He's just lacking crazy long arms, the deflections, and kind of vertical pop or maybe speed. And again, like I said, the screen navigation is the one other thing to me that's pretty shaky. All right, it is time to wrap this thing up. I love my guy Jaylon Tyson and wish nothing but the best for him. He has a bright future ahead of him, and Cleveland got one of them ones, man. Let me tell you, he's going to be damn good for them long term. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. My name has been Bryce. This is Checkup. Feel free to share this with friends, family, anyone you think would want to listen to it. All of my socials are in the link below. Please like and subscribe this video if you are new here, and I hope to catch you, yes, you, in the next one. Okay, and goodbye.